welcome to Magathea Builder Worlds. This is a Patreon build. So what's a Patreon build then? I hear you say. Well, if you're new to this channel, you might not be aware that I have a Patreon page. There are patrons, there are people who support this channel and its existence. You can become a Patreon at get the dogs, patreon.com/Magathea Builder Worlds. And what I do for my patrons is I have competitions 3 times a year where patrons are invited to send me their ideas and for a piece of scenery which is 12 inches by 12 inches by about 12 inches, and I will make that into a piece of scenery for them to go on their tabletop. It can be for any system. I know that I mostly tend to make things for Burrows and Badgers and for Necromunda around here, but I really like making games stuff for I really like making stuff for other systems as well, other games and things that would be a bit more of a challenge. And I've got to admit there are a couple of people who sent in some stuff that I'd never been asked to build before, one of which is the one that I've gone for. I am going to be making a model for a chap called Ant. Good evening, Ant. Nice to hear from you. And for him I'm going to be making a model for a game called... Fuck that up. This is the Australian printed version. Carnevale. Now, if you are not familiar with the game Carnevale, and this is something that is only pretty new to me, how can I describe it? Well, Carnevale has been around for 10 or 11 years now, at least. It's made by TT Combat. If you're a regular viewer of mine, you'll know that I have a couple of TT Combat mats that I use for Benfliot, the village in the marsh. I think actually those mats were actually made for Carnevale. They are really nice. And TT Combat are most well known for producing laser cut MDF scenery. And they do make a whole load of stuff for Carnevale. They also make the figures and the rules and everything. Carnevale, how can you describe it if you've never come across it? Carnevale is like a couple of games designers sat down and thought, wouldn't it be cool if we had a tabletop game that was based on the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie, Assassin's Creed 2, set in Italy, especially Venice, and anything to do with Cthulhu, basically, you know. So lovers of Assassin's Creed, H.P. Lovecraft and Van Helsing, mash it all up, bosh, and you get Carnevale. Carnevale is a game set in the sinking city of Venice in the turn at the end of the 18th century. A huge rent in the sky has made weird things happen. Most of Europe and the Mediterranean has been destroyed by floods and earthquakes and all kinds of other things, and now there are a whole bunch of bizarre factions who fight their way across the cityscape. It's a city that never sleeps because the sky is never really dark anymore, and there are really funky models and things that go with it. So it's a new thing for me. I'm sure that there are people who probably play Carnevale with Mordheim figures, and I'm sure there are people, and certainly Mordheim buildings. It can have a kind of like a certain wrecked feel to it, but a lot of Venice needs to be still in place. I'll show you some Venice stuff. Oh look, here's some Carnevale pictures that I found. They're quite nice. Venice is kind of cool. The reason why I've never really dabbled in Carnevale before actually is because of the need for all this scenery. I've been chatting with my mate Ted recently about Carnevale and thinking that it might be quite good fun to do. The factions of miniatures are quite cool. It's another game where you don't need a massive amount of money to buy into it, especially because, you know, a starter warband is about 25 quid. The rulebook is about the same. There's a really good value starter box set from TT Combat. I mean, it's not just because I'd been thinking about Carnevale and it was been sitting on the shelf and stuff, and then somebody said, make a Carnevale building, and I was like, hey, cool. This is what you get in a box set. Check it out. As you can see, the box set's really good value. There's 2 starter gangs in there. There's a whole bunch of cardboard buildings to get you going, and the cardboard map that you can lay out to make the canals and the streets of Venice. Dice, templates, rulebook, everything you need. Very, very cool, and not stupid expensive at all. So for players of skirmish games like me, it's not bad. When you then dive into the TT combat range of pre-cut MDF buildings, it's awesome, and without spending a stupid amount of money, you could get really good tabletops. I'm told, because I haven't played a single game yet, because look, my figures have got this far. Yeah, it's grey, and it's not even on a base yet. It's a kind of Cthulhu-esque froggy thing called a Rashar, something or other. I'm told you can play games of Carnevale on a 2-foot by 2-foot table, which sounds great. That's like coffee table gaming, really. So you don't need tons and tons of scenery. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do for Carnevale, in some other videos, amongst everything else I'm going to do, is I'm going to make a Carnevale board from the canals up. I'm going to make some new modular terrain. I think that's one of the things I'm aiming to do. But I'm also going to make buildings for Carnevale. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use some of the TT Combat laser cut MDF stuff to get me going and to fill the streets. Because the nice thing about this game, by the looks of it, is that you don't need to worry too much about interiors of buildings, which goes against the grain for me. And I'm pretty sure that some buildings would be great to play inside. Hell, if you built the Doge's Palace, then you know. But not everything has to have an interior. It's more about combat out in the streets and in the alleys and on the rooftops and in the canals. So it's a bit like kind of it is very Assassin's Creed. It's kind of like run across rooftops, a bit parkour-y kind of really. So I'm going to use some TT Combat models to bulk out the streets, and then I'm going to make what I call hero buildings, which is actually why I'm doing this particular build, because this is me having a stab at making a hero building for Carnevale. If this sucks, then I might not go any further with it. We'll have to see. It's going to be an interesting build. This is kind of like what we came up with. Ta-da. As you can see, it's square. It's kind of a guild house, I suppose. Several layers. The lowest level has got colonnades around most of it, and there's a bit of market space underneath the main building. The one side of it then has got staircases built up and supporting the first floor. The first floor then is just going to be one great big room with virtually no detailing at all whatsoever, and then onto the roof. The roof is going to be flat, and there's going to be a bit of a tower with a cupola there. Now, and then there are balconies off the windows, some of the windows. And what I'm going to be doing with this model is I'm going to be using different methods and techniques. Most of it is going to be made in 10mm XPS foam. Certainly the bottom bit and the first floor and the roof. But then the tower itself, I'm probably going to 3D print. I found a couple of cool looking hexagonal cupolas on towery things with dome roofs on Thingiverse, and I'm going to 3D print over there and I'm also going to 3D print the windows and probably the doors for this model as well, because they'll just be nice and I'll be able to work out how big they are, cut them, stick them into the XPS food, which is cool. And then I'm also probably going to order myself some MDF balconies and trellis and things from TT Combat, because I'd like to have a look at the kind of stuff they do, and I don't want to jump straight into the big buildings, so I'm going to buy a few of their kind of like small kit component stuff and have a go at that and blending that into the model as well. So this model is going to be part scratch built. That'll be chewy, big voice. This model's going to be part scratch built, but then I'm also going to 3D print some stuff, and we're going to use some model pre-made components. So I'm hoping this is going to be a rather interesting project. There's going to be time in between other things, so you might see me wearing exactly the same stuff, looking exactly the same, and shouting at the dogs and moaning about them on the same night, because I'm also going to make a couple other videos roughly at the same time, so they come out. Over here, down here under my right armpit, for example, is the Necromunda project that's in one of the other videos. So we'll see how we go. So these things are going to go concurrently. I don't think this is going to be a particularly complicated build, he said. touch 3D printed thing on the table there. So it might not be many videos. We'll have to wait and see. But then, you know me, I rattle on and prattle away, and then it's, you know, 2 hours long. So we'll see how we go. So this is Carnevale. I'm going to press go on the 3D printer, and then we're going to read the rules. Actually, the cool thing about this game as it goes, while we're getting there, actually, is that if you buy the main rulebook, either by itself or in a box set, the actual rules are only this bit here at the back. This bit here at the front is all fluff. Gorgeous artwork, breaks down for you the different factions and various other bits and pieces, and how Venice has got to where Venice is. Yeah, I know there are other Carnevale videos out there, so you know, if you want to see more Carnevale, go and find it online. This is my first Carnevale video. I doubt it's going to be my last. So let's get on with the build. Okay, let's program a 3D printer. Okay, so while I'm getting on with the rest of this model, this is the cupola printing on the top. I don't think I've done much to it at all. I hope it comes out big enough. I should check the sizes. I think it's about 7 centimetres across. It looks alright. It'll be okay for a little kind of domey bit on the top there. Building up all the tree supports and building up support inside. And it's going to be about another 6 hours printing that, so that's going to happen overnight. Cool. Anyway, let's get on with this build over here. Well, there you go. That's an impressive piece of. Hang on, the camera's gone floppy. Woohoo! Oh, it's fucking everywhere. Oh, cool light, nice. Fuck have I done with that? Wow. Like daylight light. That's good. I didn't know this light. I didn't know this light was a daylight light. Right, let's zoom back out of that. Zzz. There, let's telescoping. Zzz. Okay. So here I have. This is a foot square piece of plywood. The same stuff that I use with sump boards. And I'm using this for this building because, why am I using this for this building? Because it doesn't matter if there's a bit of a step up for the figures. That's about 8mm thick, I think. So I'm going to build this tower on this, because I've got it, it's there, it's cut out, it's just sitting around, so that's what I'm going to use. The first thing I'm going to do with this model is prepare the base. The nice thing about Carnevale models is that they you can get bases for your Carnevale. No, you can get bases for your Carnevale figures that are sculpted. They've got bits of plaza on or whatever else. So I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put stone work across the whole of this. They're going to build it on that, rather than try and fit fiddly bits of cardboard around the bottom of colonnades and stuff. Just be easier if it's all paved in the first place. So the very first job, simplest job, is going to be to take some thin cardboard, this kind of thing. Other brands of chocolate finger biscuits are available, but these were delicious and I ate them before I started the project. And I hope you're appreciating the sacrifices I'm making for you. So I'm going to cut this up into little squares, fit it on, glue it across the whole of the board, even the bits that are going to be underneath the building. That way there, that'll work quite nicely. The building itself, I think it's going to be about 9 inches square, giving a bit of a 1.5 inch kind of little bit around the outside. That's mainly because Carnevale, the figure bases, like Burrows and Badgers, are different sizes. Most of the regular little guys are on 30mm bases, but bigger beasties can be on 50mm bases or bigger. Well, they don't look like they try to squeeze one on 50mm bases, but that way there I want to be able to have a decent size around the outside of the building that a lot of based figures can go on. So that's my plan. Need to find more cardboard, because even if I cut this out and that ain't going to cover the whole thing. A cereal box is required. I shall have to go and root around in the kitchen and see what I can see. Alright, first mission then, take your cereal box and cut it up. Steel rule, craft knife, I'm going to literally just cut this into rectangles, long thin strips, which I'm then going to cut into smaller pieces. Now, Carnevale, my only gripe with this is the figures are smaller on the whole, most of them, than Boris and Badgers. Like, you know, the detail. I mean, the figures are really nice, and they're not super cluttered with detail, but they are going to be fiddly to paint. And they are that bit smaller and finer, so I am going to make a bit of an effort with this to not have massive, great big flagstones and various other bits and pieces. So I'm cutting this fairly fine. I'm going to trim them down. And I'm just going to start sticking them all onto that board. I'm going to use Yoo-hoo glue. This is not going to be very exciting for a little while. I'm just going to make a bunch of paving stones. They're not going to be teeny tiny like the cobbles or the plaza stones that will be on the figures' bases. That'll be freaking ridiculous. But compared to a lot of stuff I've done recently, this is going to be fairly small. I mean, it's not as small as roof tiles might end up being, but it's still fairly small. Although recently, B&B, my roof tiles have been bigger than this. But in the old days, I used to make teeny tiny roof tiles, and you never know, I might do again. Roofs are going to be a problem for Carnevale though, because they should be pan tile, and they won't be nice and convenient. Wall bases, laser cut cardboard. You can get pan tiles from wall bases, but they look weird because they're flat. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about roofs. This roof doesn't matter, it's going to be flat. Quite a lot of flat roofs, a lot of value in that in this game. And although I'm not a big fan of things like dice towers and stuff, it's a fairly busy looking table, and what I have seen in a number of table setups, which I like, is some flat tower top buildings with walls around the top that get used for rolling dice on. I think that's quite a neat thing. Stop dice careering all around the battlefield. Encourage players to use decent dice. I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet recently about dice. Freaking stupid metal ones. Alex, get rid of them. And ones that you can't actually read the bloody numbers on across the table. They're really annoying. But yeah. So let's do that. See what I get. See if I could turn this into a pile of this. I've cut all that up. It's the main big size of each box, but probably ain't gonna be enough. But it sure as hell is gonna make a start. So get me board, do me thing, put my board on the board, find some glue. Easier said than done. Start sticking bits of cardboard to bits of wood. Well, I've got to have some bloody glue around here somewhere. I mean, you know, I glue, therefore I am. There we go. There's some. Well, do this. We'll do a start, and we need another box here to go buy more glue, kids. Now, this bit really is going to be the dull bit. I'm going to have to. I will cut bits of card to go around the edge and make stone around the edge as well, I think. I could probably do this with Mod Podge actually. Seems a bit freaking stupid using this stuff. Right, change of plan. I like this glue. This is some of my favourite glue, this stuff. I can use this in other things, but actually when I want to cover a lot, it'd be a really expensive way to do this. Well, I could use Mod Podge instead, which is going to work perfectly well. I could brush that on. Goodly. Mod Podge! Brush that onto the board, stick them on with a scalpel. See how we go. Look, I can even just like. Bit gooey. Right, okay. Anyway, see you in a minute. This is going to be boring. Watch the Band of Brothers. I can report, after 3 rows of this is a boring bit of the job. Yes, it is.
Sir, it is.
Okay, I've got this far, and I've watched nearly all the entire episode of Breaking Point from Band of Brothers. Pew pew pew. Nearly finished. There you go, there you have it.
Okay, you might be able to hear the printer printing away in the background. It's good. That's now printing a bunch of windows. This is the top bit. I've obviously got to take out all the support trees that are underneath. But this is a cupola that I have printed to go on the top. So now, oh look, I'll stick it together. A Richard beastie of some description. And a gondola. Check out a gondola. How cute is that? Carnevale stuff. Nice. Got to make some stuff for myself after I've made this for Ant. Right, okay. Nearly finished sticking the gondola together. So, this stage of the build, and I haven't been doing it for very long. At this stage of the build, I have, he gets rid of plastic caca. At this stage of the build, I have the very bottom ready, and I have the very top nearly ready. And now what I have to do is all the bits in between. So, yeah, okay. What I need to do, actually, what I haven't done is I've got more brickwork to put around this edge here and this edge here. I'll put it on here, and I need to trim it off so it's all flush. And then I need to get some foam core out and actually start making the building, certainly making the colonnade and the like. That's the next job. Clear my desk. I won't bore you with taking out the trees out of this. I'm just going to do that, and I'll show that to you in a minute. And what I have done, or what I haven't done, what I need to do, I haven't had such big success with what's that stuff? Haven't had such success with the rust, the dirty down rust. One of you guys, a couple of you guys out there on my last video with the dirty down rust on it also told me, which I was delighted to hear about, that their dirty down also do verdigris. So this is almost certainly going to be done with a kind of like copper roof and their verdigris all over it, because that look really cool. I need to find somebody to supply me the verdigris, and I need to order some. Toot sweet. Oh look, there we go. So I'm not going to make you watch me pick out the tree. Actually, just done it. Look, all of that. This is a cool thing about 3D printing. Although now I've got to get the tree out of the bottom of the cupola. I don't want to break it up too much because it's really cool, but I'm going to have to. Damn. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's all the support. Look at all that plastic used to make this bit. Neat. Okay, anyway. Make the rest of the model now, I suppose. Alright, I'm printing windows here. These are 3 STLs. I found the thingy first. Closed Venice style windows here, and some open ones over there, which are really nice. And then these ones, I think, are sash windows. Are going to have a little kind of like little lip over the windowsill, and a kind of like its own little roof. So I think they're made, those ones are building up like that because they're made to sit inside the XPS foam, so they should be pretty cool. A few hours left to print on those, then I'll do it all over again. Actually, these are really nice. They've come out a really nice, clean, really good print. They're all going to look smashing on the outside of some of these buildings. And this is what I'm into 3D printing for, to be honest. I love, don't get me wrong, I really love, you can print some really, really amazing scenery, and if you're not a scenery builder and you can get a printer, or you can get someone to print it for you, there's epic scenery out there that you can print yourself and get on with, which is great. But I love being able to print components like this for my own models. It's just absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I'm going to let them keep printing for a few more hours, and we'll see where we're at later on this evening. Oops. Cover that up. Cover up my printer cabinet. Keep it warm in there. Not that it's very cold in here at all today. Anyway, it's quite a nice warm autumnal day. Right, let's find some foam core. Not foam core. What's the stuff called? Ooh, Tim's really bigged up. Okay, it's quite nice to be back working with XPS foam. This is the pink stuff. First of all, if this is the first one of my XPS builds you've seen, you've got questions about XPS, ask away. I get my XPS. This is 10mm thick XPS foam, which I normally just buy on Amazon. You get it in big sheets. It's insulation material. If I want really thick stuff, and over here, over down here, are the stuff that I made. Well, this model out of, which was 10mm, no, not 10mm, 10cm thick XPS foam. I go to modelshop.co.uk, the 4D model shop, and I could buy XPS foam of whatever dimensions I like there from them. They're really great. But if I want standard wall making XPS 5 or 10mm thick, I just normally buy it on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. It comes in large materials. I still haven't got myself a Proxon cutter, but that's fine for the moment. I'm working on right now. I'm working on the ground floor of this, so the colonnaded part that's going to make up the market kind of space underneath the building. I've decided that my walls are going to be 3 inches high. I don't know how clearly we can see that. Can we see that? I've drawn on 3-inch lines, mostly because, well, I took a large Rashal creature. It's not a base yet, but with a bit sticking out underneath, I figured that they'll be able to get underneath those lines there. See, so that'll work. Plenty of room. So that's kind of like what I'm working this on. At the minute, there are four 9-inch wide, 3-inch tall sections. That isn't going to make me my square. I'm going to end up with some bits 9 inches wide, some bits a bit shorter, because the back wall and this wall are going to be 9 inches. These two bits will be 9 inches less, 20mm. And I've got to work it out. I'm going to cut the colonnades and things in there. So what I'm going to do is going to measure out on this first one. Oh no, I'm not. I'll tell you what we're going to do first of all. What are we going to do first of all? What's the mission first of all? Texture the XPS foam. So for those of you who watched my stuff before, you know how this works. For those of you who haven't, it's very, very simple. In this case, I'm going to have this building as plaster rendered. So I'm just taking some tin foil. I'm rolling it. Actually, I'm not going to roll it into a ball. Balls don't work as well as rolling it into a long sausage. Rolling it into a sausage like that. And now I'm going to roll this across all the surface of the purple foam, both sides, because that way there I'll get a rough texture. Take away the smooth edge, it will make it better for painting instantly. And it helps to compress the foam a little bit and make it a bit tougher, I think. So this is just going to give my XPS foam a more interesting texture that will be better to paint. And I tend to do this on everything I make out of foam. You can see the difference between one textured bit and non-textured. Okay, so I've textured my walls. I've marked out the 3 inches. I've now taken the 2 inches. I've sat down and done some maths, because this bottom section is going to be 2-inch wide arches with 3/4 inch columns in between, roughly. And I'll take myself a piece of cardboard and a 50mm base. Whoop, and I've measured out made it 2 inches wide, and I measured onto there. I decided the 50mm base makes quite a nice kind of arch shape. Drawn around that. I'm now going to cut out a template then that I can lay on to here to draw on my arches, so they're all pretty much the same without too much bother, so I can then cut them out. That's the idea. We're going to see what that looks like. There we go. 2-inch arch shape. It's a 3-inch tall wall, so there should be about ½ an inch above the each arch. Let's draw that on. See what that looks like. Then I'm going to take a scalpel with a new blade and cut it off. Now I'm going to use this arch down the other walls. The two side walls, this structure are only going to have 2 arches because the back's 3 inches. It's going to be solid building. I think. Let's see what that looks like now. So that's what that looks like. That's showing up at all on there. Can we see that? It's hard to tell whether I've got a light glaring on me. 1, 2, 3, got to cut those out, cut that wall section out, and that's the front bit. Nice. Ta-da! 3, what are they called? Things, blah. Arches, 3 arches cut into a colonnade. And look, there's me Rashard beastie. And he's going to sit in it like that. Not that this is for me, it's Ram, but you know, it's quite a big creature, that one, compared to human being size. Here's a slave type figure. I'm standing there right like that, so that's going to be okay. Now, I need to have a look at Venice models and things, hoping that they're all rendered and I won't have to do too much brickwork and messing around. What I might do actually is draw some brickwork on some of these so where the plaster's falling away. But for the minute, that's going on the front. So, where's the... here we are. Here's my square board. And then roughly speaking, then that's going to do that. There should be about an inch or so of... at least an inch and a half of walkway all around it, so that's going to do that. Then I'm going to have a 3 inch at the back. Now I could just keep these all 9 inches, but then that's going to make it a rectangle. I don't really want it to be a rectangle, I want it to be a square building. So I'm going to have to work out that, but I'm going to cut out these. But these 2 sections here and here are only going to have 2 arches in each. So that's what we're going to cut out next, and then we'll go back a wall. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. Now, in many making videos, it'll be clever. This is where people go, blah, and then they do that, and then they've done a transition, and it's all done. But I haven't done that at all, so here we go. Yeah. Measuring 3/4 of an inch. That kind of thing. Cut out the thing first. Cut out the thing first. You don't need to see me do the maths bit, that'll be boring. Right, I now have 4 sections. Now let's get the baseboard, because the next bit is going to be sticking on. This is what my thinking is so far. Let's get the base. Base looks like this, and the front section is going to sit kind of here-ish. Then it's going to have a section with another set of arches there, like that. And then there's going to be another section over this side with a set of arches like that. Supposed to be the same freaking height, that's not bad. And then this back wall, I've cut a doorway in because I decided it's far too long a piece without having any ability for characters to be able to dive inside. So that's going over there like that. So that then gives me my 9 inch square. I'm going to put in, oh for God's sake, I'm going to put in an internal wall here on this side with another archway through, because I want a set of stairs up on either side of this, or at least one side, up into the main building. Although I might cut out another archway over there and just have a staircase up this bit on the other on the building. That would work, and that will save me having to put in a complete internal wall. This gives lots of room under here. The first floor is going to lift off, so you can get plenty of characters, he says, not having any Carnevale figures to hand, but some Star Wars figures around, that will then be able to go in under there, and that'll be plenty of room for them. Uncovered market or whatever else, which is quite cool. So yeah, I might just do that on one side. I don't have to fanny around with a set of stairs over there either. So a bit in here, one wall along there, just inside there. At least some more 3 inch high stuff. And then I can work out what the hell I'm going to do with all these bits. Although what I might do with all of these bits is they might make up, there might be enough there to make up a set of stairs to go up to the first floor. Good, good, good. Yes, good, good. Come along, come along. So that's the next thing, is going to be to stick this together. I haven't finished putting paving along 2 edges, so I can't stick this to the base yet. But that's not doing too bad. And then I'm going to stop until my windows are printed, which you can probably hear in the background printing away, because that's how I'm going to work out what the first floor is going to look like. when that's done. So, oh, and I need to go on the TT Combat website, or somebody, or an FLGS website, and order myself some balconies. That was my other plan. Order balconies to have at least over the front. I think, and maybe over the back. Don't know how necessary that is. Having not played Carnevale, I don't know how necessary it is, but I'm kind of guessing that balconies on buildings, having played Assassin's Creed many years ago, balconies on buildings will be a very handy part of this entire process. Will look really cool. But I want to use an MDF one just to see what it looks like with the rest of this. I'll order one, and if it's great, it's great, and if it's not, I'll make one out of other stuff. Right, so fabricate 2 walls in there, 3 inches tall. Stick that together. I'm going to peg it and glue it using Gorilla woodworking glue, which is the best stuff to use with XPS foam as far as I'm concerned. And then if I get myself sorted out, putting brickage along the other 2 sides, I can stick it down to its base. Progress is being made, boys and girls. This is coming on quite quick, especially as I'm not expecting this to be a super long build, because the fiddliest bits I'm doing with a 3D printer. You know, this bad boy sitting on the top, it's going to look really, really nice. Obviously not here, it's going to be up here kind of thing. And what I like about this STL is the fact that for bigger models, if I want to make bigger models, I can, thank you, if I want to make bigger models, I can just expand the size of the print, or I can reduce it. I'm going to see if I can mess around with it and make it like taller, thinner and taller, or whatever. We'll see. But it's kind of neat. So yeah, by far the fiddliest part of this model is that. So I need to, what do I need to go online and get? I need to go and order some verdigris and some balconies. Do that. Good idea. Okay. Alright, I've pegged together the main base, and now what I've decided to do is I'm going to take these 7 bits of arch that I've cut out, stack them up, and I've drawn some lines on here. I don't know how clearly we can see that. I'm going to cut these out and turn these into a staircase, which is going to go in this corner over here, which is going to be the staircase that leads up to the first floor. I'm going to put a wall in there, and that'll be kind of cool. Probably have a door in there as well. Oh, fuck off. Yeah. Arsehole. The arch of cutting this wall over here. It's now really in the wrong place. Doesn't matter which way round I turn this set of stairs, it ain't gonna work. And this freaking arch here is yeah, freaking fricked. Frickety frick frick. Frickety fricking now bum bums. Bum titty bum bums. Oh. 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 I wonder if I've got any kind of like spiral stairs that would go in that space. That would look quite cool. Don't know. Oh. I really didn't think that through, did I? What a spanner. Bam! Etc, etc. The alternative solution to that, of course, is to not bother with a staircase, just say there's a staircase and put a wall in there and a door in there, which might be a bit less fiddly because balls that right up. It's not like I can use a staircase there anyway, because it's not like the staircase is going to be actually able to take any figures on it. But it might be better if it's just completely solid and it's got a door on the outside. Oh yeah. Anyway, this bit, I'm liking this bit. This bit's looking cool, isn't it? Look at that. Look that good. That's cool, yeah. Like that bit. Hey ho. Okay, so this is how far I got. This is now stuck on, which is cool. So I'm now working on the next level.
number of decisions I've got to make. First of all, do I make the floor have XPS foam? Bing! Like that. Which would seem to be one of the most straightforward solutions. Although, I set out to make a square model, but it's not entirely square. But, you know, not bad. I could trim that down a little bit. We could put walls on there. That will make an alright thing there. So either that or make a balsa floor, but balsa's going to be a bit of a pain in the bum, so I might just make this in XPS foam, 9-inch square. Cut out the bit where I want the staircase to be. Over here, fuck it, over here, and then 3-inch walls on that. I have successfully printed some nice windows. Check that out. Yeah, look, there we go. That's shuttered ones, and this is ones that shutters open. Print some more of those. I hope. Yeah, printing some more of those. Because sadly, the other type of window I was printing didn't print properly. They failed because the filament got stuck and bust. I didn't realise. So nuts. So yeah, that's set up to run overnight. So it's going to print me 4 more of those. 4 more of these. So I'll have 8 of each, which will then decide how they're going to go on the model. Then. So when we've got a floor on like that, colonnade stuff, it's quite cool. I quite like it. I've got 2 choices now. Now the original design did actually have just a square building above it here. In some ways I'm always tempted to knock it back to a 7-inch rectangular building with a tower on top, so I could have a balcony over the colonnade here. Because again, what we're going for is levels and balconies and stuff like that, and then I might not need the balcony kit from TT Combat, which I totally haven't ordered yet. Right, I'm just digging for the cack. Digging through the cack. Digging through the cack. Digging through the cack. Well, not really. I'm going through my drawers. Ooh. Devil. So it could be. Here we go. I could use more doll's house pieces to make the front of the front of balconies. They'd be quite cool. This kind of thing. Building. Might be quite neat. I need to up the whimsy and also the playability, and actually separate levels. A big balcony on the front. It might be better than a little one. One of the things I have done is I've put it on the board, the baseboard off centre, so here at the front there's a, what we got, nearly 2 inches, 45mm. At the back it's only 1 inch, so it's definitely gone at the front of the model, but then a 45-50mm base figure will work alright on that, which is kind of cool. And the sides, just over 40 on that side. Yeah, nearly 40 on that side as well. It's not perfectly centre on there, but I deliberately have made this bit here wider. So if there's a balcony set back on that, then that might help, which I think might be cooler than just having this completely square building go straight up. Look at a lot of the Viennese, wrong city, man. Not Vienna, Venice. Looking at a lot of the other Venice buildings, there are a lot of balconies and bits and pieces there. They're just not dead straight. I think that would be quite cool, so I think I might aim to do that. Use this bit of foam that I've cut so far actually to make the floor. And then it could do with some trim. I don't know how I'm going to do the trim. It would be cool to have some kind of trim to go around the edge, go over the joins, bit of decorative stuff. I wonder, don't know about that. Think. Okay, so we're going to pause. I've decided I'm going with the XPS foam floor. I'm going to make some walls, but I can't do anything more until I've got all my windows printed. I'm going to need to print a couple of doors as well, to be quite honest. So that's right, most of them out. I'm going to stop until I've got doors printed. Yeah, I mean I could make bolts of doors, but what the hell? This one we're going for a mashup. Yeah, time to stop for the night and go to bed because it is 20 to 2. Excellent. Leave the printer running. See you lot tomorrow. So I'm using the XPS foam for the floor for this building, for the first floor. I marked a tiny little F to show that's where the front of it is going to be, and I've decided that I'm going to make a balcony here. You can't see that. We'll have a balcony out here, right out the front of the building, and then I'm going to have rectangular behind it rather than a whole square. I just think that will make a better platform for the game, because they'll have a bit they can run around on. Now the balcony's got to be at least 30 millimeters. I'll make the balcony at least 30 millimeters wide, probably 50 millimeters wide to be quite honest. So I can get one of the big beasts on there. If I do that, that'll still give me on here like that. A building wall that's going to be about 6 inches. So yeah, that'll do. I'll have a 6-inch long wall back here. Got a big balcony, so the fights can take place outside there. I think that'll look pretty neat. I hope that'll look pretty neat. Yeah. I don't know whether I'm bottling it, not going for an entirely square building, but I think it'll be kind of cool. Still be a big building back here and a decent roof, and I'll probably set the cupola, the tower, at one end or the other, so there's plenty of space around that as well. And the nice thing about it is that with a tower that will be about 3 inches wide, so sitting up here like this, there'll be plenty of room on the floor above for characters to move around. Because if this isn't going to be a game where I have loads of characters go inside buildings and you want to run across the roofs, then you need decent roofs. So that's what we're going to go for. Lots of different layers, make it more interesting. That's kind of cool. I like the idea of this being a marketplace kind of thing. A market shot stalls underneath it or that kind of thing. Similar to stuff I've done in the past for Burrows and Badgers. In fact, I've got market stalls for Burrows and Badgers that I can just wheel out straight away and stick on this, to be quite honest, if it was mine. And if I make one for myself, that's certainly what I'd do, I think. But in the meantime, let's work out the balcony and the walls. What I'm then going to do, I'm going to work out where the walls go. I'm currently now, I've printed loads of windows over here. Over here I'm printing doors. I'm not going to stick these walls together until I worked out where the doors are going to go, because I'm going to have a big door in the front of the room there leading out onto the kind of thing. I need a space for where the staircase is going to be, probably coming up the back over here. But what I am going to do is I'm going to do the inside in balsa wood. Just going to thin balsa on top of this, because you can make this stuff look like wood, but what's the point when you got wood, eh? So that's what we're going for. So the back wall's going to have windows. The original plan had a rose window set in the back. Might print one of those as well, a small one, we'll see how we go. And then maybe with one of these on either side of it in the back. That could be kind of cool. I'll just trim some of these down. So I need to make, again, 3-inch tall walls. Might even make this bit 4 inches tall, the walls on this. Quite a tall kind of hall type thing. Could be decent, give a decent amount of height on the table then. Yeah, so I think we're going to go for 4-inch walls. More XPS foam required. Let's do it. Alright, so I'm carving in pavings for the balcony section, and then I've worked out where the walls are going to go. Then I'm going to lay balsa wood in there and I need to cut out a bit for where the staircase is going to go. Coming along now, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm a little bit treading water here because there are a couple of things I haven't got in place for this project to actually happen, like the doors that are busy printing over there, and I still haven't found a source for and ordered dirty down verdigris for the paint job. Although I'm a little way away from the paint job, this model is coming on dead quick, so it wouldn't at all surprise me if I'm painting this fairly soon. After all, it is a relatively straightforward build, especially as the fiddliest parts that would often be in a traditional build, things like the cupola, were actually a piece of cake because it was just a print. So from that point of view, it's yeah, I'm nearly there. Yeah, so there's my balcony all with the paving stones cut into it. That looks alright. And now I'm going to cut out my front balcony wall, textured that already. I'm going to cut some bits of side wall, probably using archways, and then we can go from there really. Yeah, I might cut out little bits of balustrade on the side wall. I've got to work out how big it's going to be. Slavey kind of figure, standing there up. What's that? About 3/4 inch tall. Yeah, but we're going to make it about 3/4 inch. That'll do. Right, let's cut that out and stick that on. Okay, so I've cut out bits of my front of my balcony. I've also taken a bolted down, sliced it down the middle. So what I'm going to do, because I haven't cut the bits out of this balcony, the bits in between now, they're structurally quite insecure, so putting a nice round top on my balustrade, whoop, should secure the whole thing and make it that much more structurally sound, which is good. So what it needs is a fancy schmancy kind of corner post, he says, going for some old school doll's house bits. That'll work, especially if that when it's there like that, and then I want to. Oh yes, very clever, Tim. Yes. Let's do that then. Okay, stick that on there. Cut that out. Stick that on there. Go on those. See, people accuse me sometimes I own a really messy desk and working messily. It's not messy. It's a method to my madness, and the method to my madness is to have bits of cack lying around that I can turn into useful bits of scenery, but it just kind of inspires me. Just leave it lying about and then it becomes an inspiration, no less. Jolly good, well done me. So by being a messy bugger, it actually helps build the building sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. So I'm going to cut that off there like that, stick that in each end, that then got the wall and the round bit and the stuff, and it'll look cool. Right, well done me. Right, okay, so we'll stick that on. Right, sticking this on then, sunshine coming right behind it. I'm using cocktail sticks to go through the upright parts of the polystyrene right down into the base to hold the whole thing into place. I'll also again give it a bit more structural integrity. The cool thing about that is that using cocktail sticks rather than long pins is that any bits that are sticking out over the top I'll deal with in a moment by taking a pair of clippers to, clipping off the top flush so that I can stick my wooden dowel on the top to hold it on in place. There we go. Look. These are the back ends of the cocktail sticks I use to stick this building together with anyway. That's cool. So, find a pair of clippers, clip them off, then cut my dowel to the right length because it's now too big. Stick that in, Should give me quite a solid balcony, I hope. And I could go around the 2 corners, put them in place. Happy days. So, there we go. Just do that. Quite enjoying this model because actually it is becoming very much a hybrid of different methods and techniques. 3D printer whirring away in the background is great. It's going to give me some really nice bits, but here I am making balconies out of balsa wood and XPS foam. Also kind of cool. That look nice. Nice round top to that balcony. Yeah, alright. Might do a tiny bit of filling when it's before we paint it because there's the odd gap. But go on there. Yeah, alright. Right, and there might be a bit of XPS foam that needs to trim as well when it's done, but that's not a problem. Leave that to dry for a moment. Bit on the piss. A clever bit of me would be to get some dressmaking pins. Hello, do we have dressmaking pins? Because they could go. Yes, we do. Dressmaking pins. Put those in through the wooden dowel into the XPS foam. Again, that'll help it all hold it in place as it sticks. Force the shape. There we go. Finished doors. Check them out. Check them out. Like those lots, going to use those, see if they'll work. This one's quite big, but then if I'm going for 4-inch walls, it's probably going to be fine. And these are going to be the ones I'm going to use lower down. Hope they come off the bed alright. Okay then, this is where I'm ending this video. Because I've probably been rambling on for at least an hour or so already, and I know that my videos are all about the process and kind of like seeing what I'm doing, that kind of thing, but I'm also aware that if I just keep videoing and it could be weeks and weeks and weeks before I put out another video. So wherever I got to, this is where I'm stopping. This is where I'm stopping on the first part of this video. I thought I was going to get this done all in one go because it was going quite quick, but actually there's definitely enough material here for another video. What have we got? Well, we've got the base, we've got the ground floor with the colonnades put in. We've made the floor for the first floor, and I've made this balcony now, which is quite nice. It's big enough to house 50mm bases on it, which is kind of cool. That's a Rashad, I can't remember his damn name. We've got a lot to go. We've got another layer here. The first floor has got to go on here, then a roof, then a terrace structure, then to put the cupola on the top. So it might be about 12 inches tall. You know, it might be a little different, although I might make it so this bit just pops off nice and easy, because then you can put figures inside it. So this is my, as already stated in this video, my first foray into Carnevale. It's interesting. I've got a bunch of Carnevale models and bits and pieces. Little gondola, and various other things. It's kind of neat because just, well, it's typical, isn't it? You have a conversation with somebody who's watching your channel and go, "Oh, I'd like to make this," and then you go look at it and go, "That's really cool. I'd like to make that too." So now I've got Carnevale stuff that's probably going to sit over there and not get painted as well, because all my Star Wars stuff is getting painted. But that means there could be Carnevale stuff to paint in the future, Simon. Look out. So Ant, watching this, I hope you approve of the first stage of this build. Like I said, the second stage shouldn't take that much longer to complete, to be quite honest, because it's again only going to be a couple of XPS foam boxes, and then it's going to use a load of this stuff. Probably not these big sash windows, which I finally managed to get to print properly, but I have got these nice doors, Venetian style doors, apparently according to Thingiverse. That's going to go on the front. In fact, what I'm going to do is probably back to back that. So I've got a pair of doors, thus they'll be the doors leading out onto the balcony, or I might even have, I don't know. Plus then shuttered windows, that needs trimming up, and the windows without their shutters. I'm really pleased with those windows. They are, I think I said earlier, STLs, free STLs on Thingiverse. I just put in 28mm window, I think, and they came up and said Venice style. They're nice. So from that point of view, I'm well pleased with that. I have also printed a small rose window. There we go. Look, in fact, I printed two of those because I could double back it, because I will glaze this. I'll put plastic in it and make them different colours and stuff, and that's going to mount in this top wall, the back wall over here. I think that'll look really nice, and again, that's the power of 3D printing as far as I'm concerned. Yes, you can print entire towns, yes you really can, but for me, making the components, saving me. I mean, for me to make windows like that would take bloody hours. 4 of them getting printed took about 2 hours. They're probably less than that. So from that point of view, it's a lot easier to use. I can cut these out, trim these out, stick them on the outside. They'll look really, really nice, and they help take your building to that next level without being super complicated. It's really, really not at all easy if you are not somebody who's got a printer. And all the printers can be dirt cheap these days. The latest Ender 3 Pro, I think, is less than 200 quid now, around about £200, which is ridiculous. But if you're not into that, there are people around. You must know people who can print stuff for you. I've got a couple of friends who will happily print stuff for me if it gets too complicated or I haven't got the time. So well worth looking into. So I'm liking this model because it's a mix of the new and traditional materials, also other bits and pieces, kind of neat. So next time, first floor roof, paint it. We'll be using Dirty Down Verdigris, which is not on this desk. There we go. Next time I will be using Dirty Down Verdigris. I've been promised that it's as much witchcraft as Dirty Down Rust. We shall have to see. So I'm going to paint my roof a nice kind of like bronze kind of colour or brass colour, and then we're going to let the Dirty Down do its stuff. So thank you very much for watching Magazine Build a World, and joining me on this whimsical Carnevale build. For those of you who have picked this up at the end, this of course is a Patreon build, a build for one of my patrons because they suggested the model. It was a competition, and Ant was the guy who came up with the Carnevale idea, so that's what we're going with, and this is a model for him, which is kind of cool. So if you want to be in, think you'd like a Magazine Build a World's piece of scenery made for you, then all you need to do is
Well, I mean, you can contact me directly and talk to me. You never know. I might do them for commission. I don't do that very often, but if it's an interesting thing, I might. But if you just fancy one and joining my Patreon and stand a chance of winning a model made by me, then you just need to go to patreon.com/MagraTheaBuilderWorlds. Check it out. If not, make sure you click like and subscribe to this channel. I would love to get over 6,000 viewers at some point, subscribers. That will be really, really cool. Do leave comments down below. Let me know what you think. Have you played Carnevale? Do you play Carnevale? Is it a game you like? What do you think of the model as it goes so far? Is it a game you like the look of now we've had a bit of a dive into it? Is it going to be something you're going to have a crack at as well? Is there another game system you think I ought to take a look at? Don't say Moonstone, because I've already bought the books for that, and that's going to be, yeah, well, that could be another bunch of really nice models. Aside from that, if you are in the southeast of England in the middle of October, Magrathea Builder Worlds and my gaming group, we will be at the South East London War Games Show at Lee Valley on the 15th of October, playing Boroughs and Badgers. Do come and join us there, come say hello, come and tell me how much you like the channel, or if you don't like the channel, tell me that as well. I won't cry in public, maybe, possibly, but otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again very soon with the other half of this build and getting on with some other stuff as well, some Necromunda and some other things too. So thank you very much for watching Magrathea Builder Worlds. I'll see you next time. Dirty down for a degree.